So I'm on the ground, right? Left arm broken in 17 pieces, right leg torn in half. I whipped it out, right? Peacemaker, one bullet, boom, right in the fucking eye. Factory Strider came crashing down, gunships falling out of the sky, explosions everywhere. Everybody in the entire mega city just started clapping and shit. You just kind of had to be there to see it, to be honest.
The Illuminate could be monitoring my thoughts right now. Die, squid scum. Die, die, die.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, the Automatons has quickly risen to the top as most players' favorite faction to play against. It's honestly kind of crazy to think about it, considering how players used to hate the Automatons, and there was a big part of the community that were often called the bug divers, which included myself, which were players who would only play on terminated missions, even if the major order called for the divers on the bot front. Nowadays though, it seems like players are really just having a good time playing against the Automatons, and personally, I think it's my favorite as well. So today, I figured we'd do a guided run on how to consistently dominate the Automatons on a completely solo, full clear mission on the hardest difficulty, and on top of that, doing that on the hardest mission on the Automaton front as well, the Spread Democracy mission. So for this mission specifically, figured we'd bring a double sentry, the autocannon sentry, as well as the rocket sentry, and throw an AT emplacement on top of that. That will yield us enough firepower to keep the reinforcements under control for the entire duration of the reinforcement waves. As for support weapons, since we didn't really have to bring a backpack anyways, we brought the deadliest anti-tank weapon in the game, the recoilless rifle. This wasn't here in the gameplay, so ignore this. I'm recording this intro after the gameplay. Over at equipment, only the finest choices. The Scorcher, which can handle literally every single bot enemy up to a Hulk extremely easily. And of course, the Thermite Ultimatum combo for anything Hulk or bigger. So equipments alone, we can already wipe out any enemy type with ease. And as for the armor set, the medium explosion resistance armor set, which will give us enough mobility to move comfortably around in the map while being tanky enough to take tons of damage. So with that said, let's bring these into the battlefield and talk about how we handle this mission with a fair degree of ease. Alright, today we're going to be doing a guided run on the bots as a solo player. This game was a pretty clean game. We went up against a Factory Strider convoy, and we really only died once, and if I remember correctly, we died to a really silly mistake. So we're going to be going over all of that, and we're going to be talking through everything that I'm doing and thinking as I'm doing it. So first of all, I spawned here by the extraction zone as I usually do, but it turned out to be an awful choice. This is a pretty bad habit, by the way. You should not spawn on extraction zones. The reason why I do it is when Helldivers 2 launched back in the day, it used to be a good idea spawning on extraction zones because it was always empty. But nowadays, the developers have added tons of stuff to extraction zones, so dropping in on there is never really a good idea. Calling in for resupply, we're trying to top everything off. And we're trying to get rid of these gunships here so they kind of stop hitting us. Switch to the Scorcher here to get rid of it. Call in for the rocket sentry to kind of take care of the ads as well as get a little bit of aggro as well. Top off from resupply, and we're immediately going to go here for the gunship fabricator. Usually a pretty good idea to get rid of these so that you don't have to worry about enemies on the ground and in the air. It's better if you just kind of focus the gunship fabricators as soon as you can. And this is pretty much the position I consistently call in the Hell Bomb to get rid of both gunships for this facility. Hell Bomb arrives, I get rid of the Hulk. That could be the only threat for the Hell Bomb. We get that called in. At this point, of course, we're going to be cleaning all the red in the map. I'm looking for a good position here to throw the anti-tank emplacement, both for the convoy as well as for getting rid of fabricators across the map. So we start weakening down fabricators here by taking some recoilless rifle shots. Get rid of one there quite quick, and the Hell Bomb finishes off the gunship facility for us. And at this point, I'm looking to get rid of these mortars here, because these mortars can destroy our anti-tank emplacement, and we definitely don't want that because we need this anti-tank emplacement for the convoy. Here I'm kind of looking for the mortars, but I'm not quite spotting it. I see that it came from behind that rock, so I know I don't really have an angle on it. And there's a convoy, so we start shooting at some heads. What I would recommend you do if you have an AT emplacement like this, just shoot the heads. It should be 5 shots to the head. If they're a little bit closer, you probably want to shoot the turret off the top first, and then focus on the head. That'll be the best way to handle those convoys. Big group just appeared out of nowhere, it seemed like. Running low on ammo here. That's the issue with the Scorcher, but as a solo player, usually you have more ammo than you really need, especially with the resupplies. There's tons of ammo to go around. At this point, I'm just kind of waiting for the convoy to take a lap around that rock so we can get an angle on it. There's the third one. It's usually 5. Usually, no, it's always 5. And I take the last few shots of that anti-tank emplacement at that little group. At this point, I know I'm going to have to call in another one to finish off the convoy. But first, we're going to get rid of this mortar so it stops harassing us. And since we're here, we might as well finish the fabricator as well since we're going for full map clear. Get rid of this little bot, top off the recoilless. We know we're not really getting pushed from anywhere. And that's the fortress all the way back there. We're going to be going for that. At this point, I think I was looking for trying to spot out fabricators so that we could kill it from here. Take the final shot there. Since the ATM placement still had a couple shots in it. Resupply just came in, so we call it behind that rock and cover. Start using the recoilless rifle to get rid of the convoy since we have no ATM placement anyways. Recoilless rifle is really, really good. Probably the strongest choice in the game for getting rid of factory striders. Spear technically does more damage, but it doesn't target as well as the recoilless rifle does, so. Pretty sure that ricochet didn't even do damage to that factory strider. And I've kind of lost count. I think we have 2 factory striders to go here. Or is it just the last one? I'm not sure. One more shot should do it. Comes a bot drop. See if we can wipe out this convoy before. Oh, has 2 shots to do it. That's the convoy. Okay, it was the 5th one. Gunships here are... Oh, that was an interesting landing. These gunships here are coming from the operation modifier. We have the gunship operation modifier activated, so we're going to be having to deal with these all game. Call in a rocket sentry to kind of handle that reinforcement a little bit as well as the gunship. Wasn't counting on this patrol here in front of us. I meant to have the Scorcher in hand there, so I accidentally shot the recoilless rifle. Mistake that I happen to do quite often in Helldivers 2. Finish off that gunship so we stop having to worry about the verticality. We let the rocket sentry work a little bit. At this point, I'm just playing very aggressively. We definitely don't need to be fighting this patrol. But as to showcase this gameplay, I was purposely playing very aggressively and just fighting pretty much everything. As well as playing the hardest mission in the game. It is often considered this to be the hardest mission in Helldivers 2. Is the spread democracy on the bot side. So I figured, you know, we might as well do it on there. Looking for an angle here on the fabricators on the factory. I missed that. Quite a bit of a drop off there on the recoilless rifle. We go for it again because we never give up. We missed it again. We're like, you know what? Fuck it. Even if I have to use all these shots, I'm hitting this. I don't care. And we did hit it on the 3rd time. 3rd time is a charm. Got a couple gunships there. Still looking for fabricators, but I don't quite see any. Okay, there is one there, but... Oh, I actually managed to hit that. All right, take that. Nice shot to Kibo. Still looking for some more. We know, so per fortress on the automatons, we have 6 fabricators. We know at this point we've shot down 2, so there's only 4 more we got to deal with. We spot out that LiDAR from a distance, so we might as well ping it. At this point, we start pushing towards the first objective. While cleaning everything on the way. With the Scorcher against the Rocket Strider, you got 2 choices. You can either shoot them on the hip. I guess technically 3 choices. You can shoot them on the hip, you could shoot them on the leg, or you could shoot the rockets on their side. These 3 ways will kill them extremely quickly. Those are the 3 best ways to do it with them. But generally, I just kind of go for the hip. But if you go for the rockets on the side there, like in that example there, I could have shot the rocket. It actually would have killed them a lot faster.
Objective critical stratagem available.
In most case scenarios, the hip's just an easier shot, so I kind of automatically default to that. Thermite on that Hulk. We get the resupply because we're getting set up for the fight here, and we're going to need the double sentry and ideally the ATM placement as well. Cleaning out the ads around this objective. We almost died to that. We got a rocket sentry on one side. We got super earth flag, ATM placement in the middle, autocannon sentry on the other side. Resupply, or I guess reload everything. We're ready for the fight. We get onto the ATM placement and we wait for those reinforcements. It comes in waves every couple of seconds. So ideally we shut down these waves so fast that it doesn't even give them time to really apply any pressure. That's the focus here anyways. That's the entire bot drop. 3 shots on a tank when they're trying to drop should do it. Bam, down goes that tank. So far nothing has landed from the automatons. Keeping an eye out for the sky. And I'm looking here for the emote. The reason being, if you use this emote close to the flag, it actually accelerates the flag raising. So anytime you have an intermission, a little bit of a break, you can always do that. Although I probably should have left it a little bit earlier to destroy these. But it's still okay, it didn't matter at all. Sentry's kind of covering the rest without us having to do too much. And we're back onto the flag, pushing it a little bit with the salute emote. At least that's what I've heard. I'm actually, like, I can't confirm or deny how much that actually increases it, but I have heard that it does increase it, so don't quote me on it. Got a big old factory strider. At this point, it doesn't matter. The flag has finished, but we can just kill that since we still have the ammo for it. Immediately go down on the factory strider. No shot for it. And that's a very easy objective. Very close call there on that rocket sentry. I proned at the perfect time there. I'm pretty sure if I didn't prone, that might have been the end of us. Stim, pick up the final resupply. We're not going to be coming back here, so we could just get all the resupplies we wanted. Blizzard is starting to settle in, which is going to give us a little bit of space here. We can rotate around the map much more easily without being detected by enemies. So since we have a heavy fabricator here right in front of us, let me rephrase that, a heavy outpost in front of us, it's going to make our life a little bit easier to get rid of this. Although, come to think of it, looking at it from this angle, it actually made things a little bit harder because the blizzard is actually blocking my vision from finding the third and final fabricator. So actually this was more of an issue than it actually being useful. So the fabricator is behind these 2 turrets here. It's further there in the corner, which is what I'm looking for there. I take a shot thinking that was it, but that was not it. So called the attention of that turret without actually having to. But the blizzard's actually hurting us. Most of the times it does help me though. It's really good for rotating around the map, but in this situation, as I was trying to snipe out this fabricator or this outpost, it actually was more of an issue than anything. Still can't find that fabricator. Blizzard's still too thick. Get rid of this free fabricator that just appeared in front of us. I'm not even looking for that. We're looking for the We're looking for the other one. So as you kind of destroy fabricators, what you probably already know maybe is that the more fabricators you destroy, the more it actually increases patrols on the enemy side. So unless you're trying to full clear, you probably shouldn't get rid of all the fabricators like I'm doing here. But I kind of do it for the challenge, of course, to do a full map clear. Want to get rid of this factory strider, but I was worried that if I sat on that 18 placement, I would have gotten cooked, and that was definitely the right call. Take one ultimatum shot at it. I'm trying to get rid of that turret on top of it, but I end up killing it anyway, so we're good. Got a resupply here. Our recoilless rifle has no shots. We have no stims. And I think we might be out on ultimatum as well, so just gonna wait this one out a little bit. Against the bots, you can play in various different ways, man. You can play as aggressive as this. You can play it for stealth. You can rotate around the map and just abuse movement and force them to kind of rotate, trying to chase you down and make them lose you. But yeah, this is just one of the play styles that you can do against bots. A very aggressive approach. You're going to need a very well-rounded loadout, kind of like I have it here, where you can handle especially armored enemies extremely easy. Like, look at that. Hulk, no issue. Just one shot, boom, down you go. You know, factory strider, 3 shots, boom, you're down. You know, when you have a loadout like this, man, and the big guys aren't any sort of issues, they don't pose a threat to you, then the automatons just become extremely easy. Also, when you have a weapon like the Scorcher, these medium guys are also a non-issue. Gunships are a non-issue. Devastators are a non-issue. And it really just kind of comes down at that point to you just executing everything in the proper fashion, I guess. Kind of raising the LiDAR tower here, so we're going to use this little downtime here to try to snipe out that final fabricator that we never got. Down goes the heavy outpost. Get a sentry here just to kind of cover us. It's time to fight this little group here. Waiting for the LiDAR tower just to get raised here. You know, we got to turn the left 90 degrees. That time I went for the rocket on the side since I didn't have an angle on its hips. We're going to turn it and kind of trust that the rocket sentry is going to offer us the cover we need. Check the recoilless rifle there, make sure we have ammo. There's a big boy called an autocannon sentry, kind of cover us. Do a quick reload. Autocannon starts melting. Kind of letting it do its thing at this point. Get rid of the chaff and let the autocannon go to town. Autocannon solos that factory strider, which is really good. At this point, we've cleared the LiDAR tower, so now we have the entire map cleared out for us, and we can kind of move around the map a little bit better. So we have a heavy outpost next to us, as well as the primary objective. So what I'm thinking here is, okay, let's just get rid of this outpost first. But around the flag, there's a big red area, which means there's probably fabricators or a lot of static spawns, so we should probably get rid of that before we go to push for that objective. So I'm keeping that in mind as well. And I realized that we're out of ammo, so I resupply towards the heavy outpost. I threw the resupply towards the heavy outpost because we're going to be needing to tap into it a couple of times here, because we're going to be using a lot of ammo here for the fabricators. Waited for the resupply there, using the rock as cover. Get rid of that chaff behind us, and these guys, they can one-shot you if you're not paying attention. Here's the first fabricator, and then there's two that hug each other in the center. Get rid of one. We know at this point now it's 3 out of 4, so really it's just the one that I threw the thermite on that's missing. You get the AT emplacement because the factory strider never turned, so I figure, you know what, let's call the AT emplacement. Get rid of this factory strider and the turret on top, so there's no sort of pressure when we're rotating around the map. Insane shots there from that Devastator, but it somehow still lived. Get rid of the turret on top of the factory strider first to kind of cripple its damage potential, and we start nuking it. Got behind cover there, so we're gonna focus on the Devastator a little bit. I'm actually surprised it's still alive. I think I was probably missing those shots there. Just gonna use a couple more shots here. We have ammo on it, and we don't need it for anything else, so we might as well just use it. Push back for the resupply if I can. But I saw there's a crap ton of enemies that way. And there's a reinforcement. I actually don't recall if I go back for the resupply here or not. At this point, both choices are equally as risky. I can either go the other way without the ammo. Okay, here comes a factory strider. I remember, I actually bail out of here. Factory strider came in. That's the reason why I turned around. The rocket sentry would have been enough if there wasn't a factory strider, but that was unfortunate for us. The problem here is, though, now we're out of ammo. In retrospect, that was a wasted ultimatum shot. I'm worried because my Scorcher ammo is very low. That's why I try to use the ultimatum there to help me clean out a little bit. Trying to get rid of these gunships so they don't hurt us that much. We can call in for an extra recoilless rifle here so we can get full shots. That way we can get rid of this factory strider and the gunship with no trouble. Down goes the factory strider with the new recoilless rifle, and we have a full backpack now. Just gotta get rid of this gunship. It's the next biggest threat. And Blizzard just kind of kicked in, so this is actually kind of ideal for us as we're trying to retreat. Do one more reload here on the recoilless rifle. Amazing support weapon, as you guys are seeing. Tons and tons of ammo. Every resupply with the ship module upgrades refills all of your shots, and it literally one-shots everything except factory striders. It's just fantastic. Cooldown cleaned out so we can get the resupply in here. I'm trying to get an angle on the fortress to start working it, but Blizzard's not helping. Blizzards usually last, these environmental effects, they usually last for about 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, is how long they last. I think it's about 120 seconds if I recall correctly. So at this point we're like a minute down, we still got a minute to go. Still making a push towards it though. I did get rid of 2 of the fabricators. I kind of want to get rid of it first. Usually, the reason why I'm doing this is usually I prefer to get rid of all the fabricators and fortress and mega nests and things like that first before the objective. Because then I can kind of dictate the timing of the mission a little bit better. I'll know whether I need to speed up the main objectives and play more aggressively or less aggressively. And I often feel like if I need to kind of rush through the mission, I'd rather rush through the main objective than rushing through fortresses or mega nests, because those can spiral out of control a lot more easily. So we're using here the, that somehow ricocheted. We're using here the detector tower. We know it's looking the other way. We're letting the autocannon work. Detector tower is locked onto our autocannon, but we should still be good. Trying to push in a little bit closer here. I see a tank shooting through that smoke, or not smoke, but the blizzard. Hulk as well. Get rid of the Hulk. Another reload. We gotta start pushing in here. At this point, there's too many armor there. I figure, you know what? Let's just go in. Just go in. Just go in. Trying to pay attention, see if the thermite stuck, which it did. One more down at the bottom. Ultimatum shot it. There's one in the back. Recoilless rifle, because it's too far for the ultimatum. Then at this point, I'm just trying to figure out where the final one is. Ooh, almost died there to that trooper. Imagine surviving all this just to die to a trooper. That's kind of crazy. Gonna reload the recoilless rifle, make my life a little bit easier. That way, I can just snipe out the final fabricator and get this over with. There it is. Just spotted it over the little wall. And that's the fortress. Every fortress has a back door, so I'm gonna leave through there. This one's fenced off, so we use the ultimatum to break the fence. We're coming right out. I know this fortress layout, so I know there's this little wall here on the side. But I figured we're just gonna drop anyways. Make my way here towards the flag. This flag is clean. We see it on the minimap that it was clean. So really we just gotta get in there and just kind of set it up and get to it. We got 16 minutes, so we're ahead of time. At this point, we've done pretty much most of the map, and we just gotta focus on the two final main objectives as well as the SEM site, and if I'm not mistaken, one more outpost. But most of the big side objectives and fortresses and outposts and stuff is dealt with, so kind of chilling. Call in a rocket sentry here because I want to get rid of those hulks. I didn't really have anything. I was out of ammo here. I kind of threw in the resupply in the middle there for when I called the super earth flag, but I didn't realize that there were so many enemies everywhere, so I couldn't do anything about them until I picked up the resupply. In other words, that was a bad resupply call down. I should have called it outside. There's that little group there and a patrol incoming, so I figured, you know what, that patrol is coming anyways. Here's what we're gonna do. We already called in both sentries, so we're gonna wait for their cooldowns to reset. So while we're waiting for their cooldowns to reset, let's just kill everything around here and make it a little bit easier on us when we call in the flag. So we get rid of everything that's around this objective, just to make that flag mission a little bit easier. Now everybody's cleaned out, but the problem is we have no sentries whatsoever. So we'll call in the anti-tank emplacement and we'll wait a little bit. I'm very tempted here. I remember being very tempted to just call in the super earth flag. I was thinking, man, could I handle this just with the anti-tank emplacement? Should I take this risk? That was the biggest thought that was going through my head. So I see this is when I spotted that, wait, I still got an outpost and a SAM site to do. And we have 13 minutes, right? The clock is already in the red. But I still decide to kind of play it safe because what I'm worried about is if I call in the super earth flag and the anti-tank emplacement is not enough to hold it back, we're going to delay this objective a lot and it could just spiral out of control. So at this point, we're waiting. We got 25 seconds left. But as per usual, I get impatient. What I think about here is, okay, you know what? With the AT emplacement, oh yeah, okay. So here on the AT emplacement, I get stuck. I get the glitch where I cannot leave the AT emplacement. My character is currently stuck, and it's basically a bug that has in Helldivers 2 where sometimes when you get into these emplacements, you cannot leave it. So there's only one way for us to get out of here, and it's by dying. If I'm not mistaken, this is the time that I do die in the game, and the only time I die during this game. So at this point, I'm thinking, I'm actually very tilted at this point, but I'm thinking, you know what, let's just fight off these bot drops, and we'll just let something kill us after this. That's pretty bad. Still get rid of the dropship though, because I'm kind of hoping it's going to kill more bots as it slams down. We see they're kind of stuck there a little bit. The tank also survived. It's somewhere in the back there. No longer alive. And then we got a couple of enemies there that seem to be stuck, maybe because of the dropship that fell on it. Trying to land those shots, not really working, is it? Some massive whiffs there. Try to do the same thing there by making the dropship leave it or get stuck on it. So the flag is completed. We're still stuck in this gamer chair. Oh, there's one enemy for us to kill. Get rid of that tank first. And we're trying to destroy here the AT emplacement without killing my character. And it works. Okay, so this isn't the time I die. I do know I die at some point in this game. I just don't recall exactly when. And we get the completion there. Pretty convenient that we were able to destroy that. That could have actually cost us the entire game. That glitch is devastating. Absolutely devastating. So frustrating. But we're still good. We got 10 minutes. We got to do a SAM site. We got to do an outpost. And we got to do one more super earth flag. So we got a long way to go. But we do not have much time. But yeah, on these missions, you kind of have to bring a... I recommend bringing the double turret because, you know, it just helps you out so much. Just cleaning out those reinforcements. It kind of helps you a lot, dude. A lot. I used to bring just 500 kilobombs and like barrages and stuff, but it doesn't work as nearly as well as the turrets do.
Bag's empty.
So at this point, I thought to myself, you know what we're going to do is we're going to go for the SAM site here. Because the SAM site could help us out, shoot out the dropships as they're kind of coming in on the final objective. So I'm thinking we'll prioritize the SAM site first, and then we'll go do the final objective. Got a good angle there on that outpost, so we snipe out those two fabricators extremely quickly. Pick up the resupply. It's time to get moving to the SAM site. Topped off on everything. But we're pretty much vibing right now. I mean, we're not really vibing. We got 8 minutes left. Time is kind of going down against us. But in terms of like being able to handle the enemy threat, we are vibing. We do have everything we need. We have as much anti-tank as we could ask for, as well as the assistance of 2 amazing sentries. This bot drop, though, is pretty inconvenient for us. Big factory strider incoming, so we get the autocannon sentry here out as well. A shot at its butt there. Autocannon is here. Get rid of that factory strider real quick.
Helldivers never die.
Great cover there from the sentries. Already wipe out that entire reinforcement in just a couple of seconds. That's why you gotta take the rockets on the side. So much faster. Start pushing through this.
I need a team reload.
At this point, only one thing left to do, and that's the final part of the objective. After that, it's just extracting, and back home we go. But yeah, man, pretty much for the automatons, all you're really gonna need is a ton of anti-tank solutions, and as long as you bring at least one proper primary weapon for the mid-sized units, such as Devastators, which usually will mean like crossbows, scorchers, purifiers. Those weapons are going to be able to kind of get rid of all of those Devastators and just make your life a lot easier. So if you just bring one of those weapons, you can pretty much just wield a bunch of anti-tank stratagems and you're pretty much good to go. Spot out that fabricator, immediately snipe it out, make a life a little bit easier there. We check the mini-map, we see that that was the fabricator that was creating the red, so this is now officially out of fabricators. We can just kind of go in there. Blizzard starting to settle in. This is a little bit of a problem here because we're about to start doing this super earth flag, and with the blizzard it means we're gonna have a hard time spotting out those reinforcements to shoot them out of the sky. So I got two choices. I either wait out the blizzard and have 3 minutes on the clock to finish off this mission, or I just fight it off with the blizzard. Continue to kind of get rid of everything that's kind of in the middle here, and it all is kind of gonna depend how quickly I can clean it up, right? Like if I take a long time to clean up the objective, at this point I would probably wait out the blizzard, but we clean it out pretty quickly in like about 30 seconds or so. So I know I have about a minute and a half left on that blizzard, so I'm like, you know what, let's just do it. We got this, let's just do it. I think at this point I still hadn't made the full decision yet. I was still considering on just waiting out the blizzard,
Last reload.
but I'm pretty sure I commit to the blizzard.
Priority.
Objective critical stratagem available.
As I often say, Helldivers 2 is a game about decision making, not necessarily mechanical skill. And pretty much that entire time, as I was kind of cleaning out the objective, I was considering whether I should just activate the mission, or yeah, I'm stuck again. I was trying to remember whether I got stuck again. I got stuck again. Same glitch. I can't leave the anti-tank emplacement. But yeah, pretty much that entire time that I was cleaning out the objective, I was thinking, should I just engage and start the mission, or should I just wait out the blizzard? At this point, I'm stuck on the AT emplacement, so I think this is when I die. SAM site, huge help there for this mission type. If you're playing this mission, do prioritize SAM sites, as they're gonna shut down those reinforcements a lot and just make your life like tremendously easier. At this point, I was considering just destroying my own AT emplacement to get out of here, but at the same time, I wanted the AT emplacement. Oh, okay. I didn't remember that. I have no clue what just killed us there. I still don't know, even by watching this again. I don't know what killed us there. I really don't. I don't know if that was my own rocket sentry or what that was. That made no sense. Truly have no clue what just killed us. I still don't know. But anyways, fighting off here with whatever we can. Scorcher on the smaller guys, as always. Recoilless rifle is going to be for the hulks and tanks and factory striders. Just noticed there that I had stepped out a little bit too far from the super earth flag, which delayed things a little bit. Sentries are about to disappear, so we know we're starting to enter a dangerous territory where we kind of Don't have any backup here. Rocket Sentry still going though, still fighting. And that's a huge win. That right there is the entire Spread Democracy mission with a full map clear. All main objectives, all side objectives, fortresses, outposts, everything included, while going extremely aggressively. I almost honestly want to consider this a deathless run. In my eyes, this is a deathless run that we got glitched twice, and I still don't know what the heck just killed me there while stuck on that gamer chair. Still don't know. No clue. You just got one shot. It didn't look like a rocket sentry because the rocket sentry doesn't one shot like that, I don't think. So strange. Either way, we're just going for extraction. We know we have a minute and a half here. By the time we find the extraction, we're probably going to be down to a minute. But what I'm trying to do here is I want to get to extraction so that I can dump both sentries down and just help us hold it back while we wait for the Pelican 1 to arrive. So we're going all out here. And we're going to be taking on the fights and holding that extraction zone as much as we can. Rocket Sentry in. Autocannon on the other side. Get rid of that Hulk. Call in the extraction.
How'd you like to taste some freedom?
My god, that is a hell of a shot from that Devastator. But yeah, against the Automatons, another thing I would recommend is when you are going to bring anti-armored stuff, you don't want to just bring, say, 500 kilo bombs, orbital precision strikes, and like rail cannon strikes, because those are single target stratagems, right? For example, the rocket sentry here and the autocannon sentry, as you're kind of seeing, not only are they killing the armored enemies, but they're also killing a ton of chaff, right? I step out here of the extraction zone because the timer on the clock ran out, which means I can now officially step out of the extraction zone area, and it will the countdown will still continue. But at least I can position myself a little bit better here. Is why I kind of left that extraction there a little bit. But yeah, basically when you think anti-armored against automatons, you want to take into consideration anti-armor choices that can get rid of more than just one or two enemies, you know. That's why rocket sentry is always such a good pick. Even barrages are a really good pick. Just because of the massive amounts of armored enemies you're going to be having to deal with. So I know the patrols kind of want to call for reinforcement here. So what I did there was this little outpost a little bit outside of the extraction right there, which I just shot. And I just shot the patrol so they would call the reinforcement on that outpost, which is exactly what they did. Because I didn't want them to call a reinforcement on top of the extraction zone, and instead I wanted them to call it from a somewhere farther away, which is why I attracted them all the way back there. So by distracting that reinforcement and forcing them to call it elsewhere, it gives us an easier extraction here. And we're just chilling, and home we go. In my eyes, man, that's a deathless run. Very, very good run, honestly. Very solid. 18 placement glitched on us a couple times. I still don't know what causes that. I still haven't figured it out. But yeah, very, very solid run. Let's just go ahead and skip here to the kill count so that we see how many kills we got. Let's just kind of let this play out. I want to thank you guys very much for watching, man. Thank you very much for the support, and I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope that guided run helps clear up what's on my mind as I'm playing a little bit, and maybe helps somebody out there. See how many kills we got. 466. That's a pretty good amount of kills for an automaton game. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, man. And I'll be catching you legends on the next one. Peace.